Welcome to another episode of the Iron Age Show, talking about geek culture, news and lifestyle. Now, first thing off the bat, I want to address something that you probably all can recognize when you look at us. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's nighttime, so you'll have to excuse it if the lighting is a little bit dim.
Yeah, it is not the best lighting we've got at the moment, but hey, we'll do what we can do, right? So anyways,
oh, and by the way, yeah, we're also getting dressed for
a bit bizarre, but I'll make Mazar.
Jason,
so happy birthday. Obviously today's not the actual day, but actually the party that we're going to go to, so I'm dressed up for it, obviously.
I too am dressed up for it. So we're about to head off, but we thought we'd better get an episode out for all our fans out there, because I know you're waiting to hear more of us.
Absolutely. So this episode we wanted to talk about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, right?
Yeah. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
So this movie's been out for a couple of weeks now. I've watched it.
Now, I actually haven't seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I actually haven't even seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
What? Why?
I don't know. Well, it just never appealed to me.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, it doesn't the graphics and the storyline and all that sort of... I mean, look, I'm not a fan of the old school stuff because I never grew up with it, to be very honest with you. I know about it. I've watched bits and pieces, but I'm not religious about it. But
for me, the issue is that it's that when I saw the title of the movie, it was Rise of the Planet of the Apes. To me, it felt like a prequel. The movie could only go one way. It could only end a certain way.
Right. Well, look, Dawn...
So, instead of that, there's always other movies that I wanted to see, and I mean, this time around, I went to watch Jersey Boys instead of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, Jersey Boys, Clint Eastwood. Well, let's talk about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So you've seen it.
Yeah.
Let's just give us a quick little review of it. Good, bad,
Overall, I really enjoyed it. You can definitely feel that it is the second part of a trilogy. It definitely felt that way.
Yeah, see, I don't really like the sound of that already.
No, well, the thing is, for me, a lot of times, whether it's a trilogy or anything, I always like... when a storyline is setting up the scene, introducing the characters, I find that more appealing. And then usually from the middle part, it's not so. Sequels are not as good to me, only because
sequels are not as good to you.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
There's quite a few people out there who's going to take that apart. Who's going to dissect that in.
But pending, for example, like the Batman trilogy that came out. The second one was my favorite, with Heath Ledger as Joker and all that sort of stuff. So there are a couple of things, but as a generalization, sequels are always...
Yeah, that's right. Godfather Part 2, Aliens, Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, sequels are normally
Empire Strikes Back.
aren't they?
Wait, time out. Empire Strikes Back, I will honestly say that I actually did not enjoy that one as much as everyone's made it out to be. I actually didn't. I did not.
In case anyone hasn't stopped watching because of this guy's opinions, let's talk.
What would you give it? Have my own opinions.
What would you give it out of 5?
All right, out of 5, I'd probably give it about 3.5.
3.5. Okay, well that's a pretty good. That's
3.5. Yeah, it's above average, right? It's above. It's enjoyable. The action scenes are great. The CG in it's fantastic.
Looks believable. They look like actual monkeys.
And you know what? I didn't even realize that the guy who did the motion graphics and stuff like that for Caesar. It's the same dude that did Smeagol.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of different freaking... You know how they normally... Smeagol actually looks like him, right? Caesar doesn't. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I'm just trying to think what the guy looks like, but... Yeah.
He looks like... I'm telling you, he looks like Smeagol.
It's all digital anyway, so it's
fine. But usually they have a... Anyway, it's a similarity. But, yeah, look, the overall the movie looks good, was great. Gary Oldman was fantastic in it. Did reminded me a little bit about, reminded me of Commissioner Gordon only because he played that authority sort of figure as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I find that Gary Oldman, whatever movie he's in, every time I see him, he's a completely different character.
And, not
like Tom Cruise, where it's every time I see
Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise, Mark
Cruise.
Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg, and that sort of thing.
But you felt Gary Oldman had a
just for this. I think only for this purely because of the role that he plays in this as well. And he plays as a guy who basically governs the human town or whatever's remaining. I'm not going to spoil the actual the storyline for you guys who haven't watched it, and for you guys who have watched it, maybe you feel the same way. I don't know.
So you're saying it felt like the middle part of a trilogy?
Yes, it absolutely did.
Does that mean it's going to end with there'll be no ending at all? It's going to stop much like, say, Matrix Reloaded, where it stopped and it was very much...
Like an open-ended ending?
It wasn't even open-ended at all. It was very much come back next year and watch the conclusion of the story.
Well,
did it have that sort of ending?
No. It didn't have an ending in the sense of its... actually... the more I think about it now, the more I'm like, you know what? They didn't have it open-ended like to be continued, you know what I mean? This movie can end as is if you want to, but you can feel that it's definitely going to be a trilogy. I mean, there's already announcements and stuff like that anyways, but you can feel that it is a middle part that is sort of like Lord of the Rings. Have you watched Lord of the Rings?
Unfortunately, I have seen Lord of the Rings.
So, you know, like Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers is the middle one.
The second part,
The second, exactly, this is the sequel to it. And that, again, drags out for me a little bit. I mean, this one, not to say that it dragged out, but there were moments where it felt like it was quite long-winded and I just wanted to fast forward and see action. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's just me.
So, is this an action movie or is it a science fiction movie?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
Absolutely. Science fiction, obviously. Science fiction in the sense of, monkeys have... Apes, which are different to monkeys, are obviously evolved and from science and blah, da, 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 da. They can talk and converse and all that sort of stuff.
Well, to me, the reason it never really appealed to me was that the titles of both movies very much sound like prequels.
Right.
I think this whole series of the Planet of the Apes movies, it has to end with a definitive Planet of the Apes, where the humans are the minority.
Well, this one, you can tell the humans are the minority to begin with.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Well, there was a virus that went... So the storyline takes place 10 years after the initial rise of the Planet of the Apes, and what has happened is there's some sort of virus that went and swept across the Earth and took out the human race, basically.
Okay.
That's to sum it up. That's what
Right,
happened.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't feel too long? Did it feel well-paced? Because the thing is with this movie, aside from Gary Oldman and Andy Serkis, if you can consider him a headline actor, I don't recognize any of the actors. I don't really recognize the director as such.
No, me too. I don't think it was horrible. I didn't think it was... Look, I thought it was paced really well for the first 2/3 of the movie. The last third... dragged a little
fell
bit for
apart?
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Not fell apart like it's horrible, but it's like, oh, I want to see more action, just hurry it up now.
Because, most movies, they start off strong, there's a little bit of a lull in the middle, and then it picks up at the climax.
Well, for me, it almost felt like they tried to drag the action scenes a bit too much, maybe? I don't know. What was really cool is seeing the Koba ape with 2 guns riding a horse going... That was pretty cool.
Oh, so here you go. So, apes riding horses, okay. Robots riding robotic dragons, dinosaurs,
Only because,
not good.
Not good because it was never supposed to happen.
Oh, and I suppose monkeys riding horses
wait,
supposed to happen.
in G1 Transformers, excuse me, I'm pretty sure Optimus didn't ride a freaking Grimlock with swinging a sword going, bro!
Wheelie rode Grimlock
That's Wheelie.
a few times. If anyone's seen the original Planet of the Apes, maybe you should let this guy know whether any apes rode horses, because I'm pretty sure they did.
I'm pretty sure they did. They rode horses. But Wheelie, I mean, he's not Optimus. But anyways.
Recommend the movie?
Sorry?
Recommend the movie?
Yeah, I actually would. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out, right?
Well, so we know that there is going to be a sequel to this, or in another one. Do we know whether it's the last one?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Take the Marky Mark one out of the picture, obviously, for all you guys who get it mixed up. I know most of our viewers won't get mixed up, but there are going to be some out there that think,
of course they would. Now, we are smart fans who know what's going on.
Very true.
Well, that being said, I also just want to quickly add that Jersey Boys was also very enjoyable. Clint Eastwood, maybe not the person to direct a musical. In fact, when you watch the movie, it lacks the intensity or the energy of a musical.
I was going to say,
it's very dramatic, actually.
Isn't it really bizarre having Clint Eastwood direct a musical? That's sort of like getting Michael Bay to direct a romantic comedy, right? It just doesn't.
And it's funny you say that, because I would almost go as far as to say it's not a musical at all. Yeah, they sing songs, but it's only within the context of the story. Like, they'll sing a song when they go to the recording studio. They'll sing a song when they're performing on stage, but they won't spontaneously burst out into songs.
Okay.
Yeah, not really musical.
Wait, what's the whole story about Jersey Boys about? Like a group getting together?
The Jersey Boys is a dramatic retelling of the how the band, the Four Seasons, got together.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty interesting. I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is not real.
Isn't it like old people that watch this movie?
Well, my mum's a big fan of that movie, of that music, and listening to it, it's kind of just brings me back to childhood. So
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a
Okay.
fan.
Is it so? Is it just sort of like music that you used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air, right?
Yeah.
You know Carlton. Is it that sort of style? You know what I mean?
I will admit that I've exercised to the soundtrack of Jersey Boys before.
Alright.
Well, let us know what you think. If you've seen Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. You know, that's another thing I don't particularly care for, the title. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Opposed to the Dark Knight Rises.
Well, it's just so clunky. You know, it should be just Dawn of the Apes or Rise of the Apes.
I think they're just trying to tie back to it.
Oh, yeah, they have to put the Planet of the Apes in there.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Well, let us know what you guys think.
Mm-hmm.
We have more movies to review coming up in the later months, which I'm sure you're all very much looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Until then, guys, keep it geeky. We'll see you next time.
See ya.